Military takeovers in Burkina Faso, Chad, Guinea and Mali have stalled democratic progress. These juntas, which seized power through coup, promised a return to civilian rule but have continuously postponed elections. This delay in democratic processes raises concerns about the future of these nations. The people of these countries eagerly await the opportunity to choose their leaders and shape their destinies through free and fair elections. The international community has condemned the coups and urged a swift return to democracy. The African Union and regional blocs have imposed sanctions and suspended these countries from their memberships. These actions aim to pressure the military leaders to hand over power to civilian authorities. The people of Burkina Faso, Chad, Guinea, and Mali deserve the right to determine their own future through democratic means. Sadly, military coups have cast a long shadow over Africa's political landscape. A significant number of African leaders who have clung to power, evading term limits, initially rose to prominence through military coups. This pattern highlights a worrying trend where military intervention disrupts democratic transitions and perpetuates authoritarian rule. The legacy of coups continues to hinder democratic consolidation and the rule of law in many African countries. These coups often stem from a complex web of factors including weak governance, corruption, and socio-economic grievances. However, it is crucial to emphasize that military intervention is never a solution to these challenges. In fact, it often exacerbates existing problems and creates new ones. A culture of impunity and a lack of accountability for past human rights abuses further undermine democratic progress. Military rule frequently results in the suppression of political opposition, human rights violations, and a decline in the rule of law. The junta governments in Burkina Faso, Chad, Guinea, and Mali have been accused of cracking down on dissent, silencing critical voices, and targeting journalists and activists. This repression creates a climate of fear and stifles freedom of expression, hindering democratic progress. Furthermore, military rule is often accompanied by economic mismanagement and a decline in living standards. The junta's focus on consolidating power often comes at the expense of addressing critical economic and social issues. The lack of accountability and transparency in governance can lead to corruption and the misallocation of resources, further hindering development. Section 4. Violence escalates in the Sahel. The Sahel region, already grappling with insecurity, has witnessed a surge in violence and instability following the recent coups. This surge in violence, particularly in Niger, highlights the fragility of the region and the transnational nature of the security challenges. Armed groups, including jihadist insurgents, have exploited the political turmoil and security vacuums created by the coups to expand their operations. The growing insecurity has resulted in a humanitarian crisis, with widespread displacement, food insecurity, and human rights abuses. The international community must provide robust support to address the root causes of conflict, strengthen governance, and promote sustainable development in the region. Section 5. The importance of a free press. The role of a free and independent media is paramount in holding those in power accountable and informing the public. However, military juntas often seek to control the narrative and suppress dissenting voices. Restrictions on media freedom in Burkina Faso, Chad, Guinea, and Mali have hampered accurate reporting on the security situation and the human rights consequences of the coups. The lack of access to reliable information makes it difficult for citizens to hold their leaders accountable and make informed decisions. The international community must continue to advocate for media freedom and support independent journalists in these countries. A free press is essential for a functioning democracy and for ensuring transparency and accountability.